Hello, hello, and welcome to Brit Reviews It All. And today I'm going to be talking about Chucky, the series, and this is season 2, episode 2. Okay, so this episode was so fun to watch. I watched it last night, it just aired. Um, and so with this one, I just really want to, I'll just kind of go through my notes. I did take notes. So they started off with this episode. So you have Tiffany, aka Jennifer, Tiffany and Jennifer's body. She wakes up and she finds blood on her hands. And so when she pulls the covers back, it's the Tiffany doll's head. So we have to wonder, how did the head of that doll end up in her bed? Um, when Jennifer wakes up, she cooks breakfast, does all of that. She goes into another bedroom and she has Anika in there. And if you've seen season 1, you know that Tiffany, she chopped off the arms and the legs of Anika because Chucky is inside of Anika's body. A part of him is. Um, Now, she did that so she could keep control over that particular um, Chucky, so to speak, and also keep Anika as well. So we have to wonder, how in the heck did the head of the doll get into that house, right? Now, what happened when she was feeding Anika and everything, and they were talking, and then all of a sudden, Jennifer or Tiffany, she goes and she cuts her hand and she does something to Anika, which when she did that, it brought out Chucky. I guess the smell of blood or the sight of it, of slicing, I guess that's what brought him out. So they were, talking, and he was saying what he needed to say. And pretty much he was letting her know, I'm coming for you, and I'm also coming for those kids, which would be Lexi, Jake, and um, why I can't think of their names right now. Lexi, Jake, and Devon. There we go. Okay. Really? But anyway, so that's pretty much what he said, and then it was a wrap for that. Now, when we go back to the school, now remember at the end of at the end of the first episode, the tall package was being delivered to the school that the kids have been sent to, which we all know what that is. Obviously, it's going to be a good guy doll. So it was. They're bringing them in. They're showing them around, telling them, what it's going to be. And while they're in there, in the office, the two nuns that were in there, they unwrapped it to see what it was, because obviously there was like toys or something supposed to be happening they're going to give to the kids. And guess what was in there? Which we all know that is a live doll. It's Chucky. We don't know one of the Chuckies, obviously, because we know in the first episode that one blew itself up. So yeah, so there's that. So Chucky's already in motion, and it was just like, it's like it was his plan. Like, he has a plan, okay? And so we're pretty much going to be trying to figure out what the heck is the overall plan. Now, we Lexi, they, like I said, they're getting them situated. They're getting them, showing them their rooms, giving them their uniforms to wear, because they all have to wear uniforms. So Lexi, she gets room with the girl that they had already met Nadine when they first got there. Um, Off the bat, Nadine was giving me kind of some weird vibes, kind of, sort of, because I'm just wondering, I'm like, okay, so it's going to be something about Nadine and her character, and I'm curious to see what that's going to be. Lexi ends up being roomed with her. And apparently Nadine has like a bladder problem, so she has to stay closest to have the bed that's closest to the bathroom so she can, handle that. But anyway, and Jake and Devon, Father Bryce is taking them to show them their floor, and obviously they don't know them at all, and they don't know that Jake and Devon are actually in a relationship with each other and exploring what that is. So Jake pretty much has to kind of pull Devon to the side, because he's like, oh, we're gonna be roommates. Hey, we're gonna have to keep, our little thing under wraps, because this is Catholic. I'm pretty sure that they're not in with the gays. Pretty much, this is exactly what he said. So there's that. And they are roommates, so we're gonna have to see like how they kind of navigate that and not get caught doing something that Father Bryce or any of the nuns would frown upon, or the kids in the school too. I'm not gonna say that they're brainwashed, but obviously there's gonna be some students in there. They're gonna frown upon the two of them liking each other, and it will more than likely be a problem. So let's see. Nadine and Lexi, they were talking. Of course, new person comes in, you want to know like why are you here, like what's up. Lexi keeps asking Nadine in conversation, well, like, hey, well, why are you here? Because when you look at her, you don't see like she was a bad child. You don't see that from her, but she keeps avoiding the answering that question, and I'm really curious as to why. Like I said, we're gonna have to see what's gonna happen with Nadine. Um, Now, moving on. Once all of them get settled into their rooms and they finally get a moment to just breathe and just be by themselves, Jake, he pretty much is having breaking down because it's starting to settle in for him what happened to Gary, and just I think overall he's feeling guilty about the fact that he brought this into their lives because he was the one, season one, he's the one who purchased that doll and brought it home. And it's been you know what, it's been crazy ever since. It's been terrible ever since he did that. So he's feeling all of that guilt. Um Now let's see. Now we have the scene where the nun, the older nun, I do not remember her name. She was in the office by herself in Father Bryce's office. I think she was doing something as far as with the toys that are in there. And Chucky, he kept falling. So when she would hear him fall, she would get up, go pick him up, sit him back down. Then he fell again. So she was just like, and I think, if I recall, she did. She just left him on the floor and was just like, whatever, which we all know what's about to happen because clearly he's messing with her. Before you know it, he comes from, had to have went under the desk or went around and she didn't realize it. And he jumps in front of her and goes like this, talking or saying whatever he said. And she immediately has a freaking heart attack. And in the process, she raises up her cross, and he's just like, "Oh, what is that? Like, oh, the for vampires?" He's like, "Rah, rah," and I was like, "This is where it's like the mix of you have the thriller, slasher scenes, but then you have the funny mixed in with Chucky, period." Because even though this lady is literally dying from a heart attack in this scene, I'm like laughing at the same time because of Chucky, and it's so twisted, but I really was. I'm sorry. It was meant to kind of take away from what was happening. And then in the process, he takes a freaking picture of her when she finally, goes out. He takes a picture of her, which was so weird because I'm like, okay, well, why would you do that? But anyway, so he did that. Now, I'm also wondering, whose phone does he have? Because clearly, when they first got there, the younger nun, she took all of she confiscated the cell phones. So apparently the children or the kids there, they're not allowed to have cell phones, I'm assuming. And I'm just wondering whose phone did he even have? So that's one thing. And then, but anyway, they all obviously find the nun dead. And everyone's like gathered around Father Bryce's office. They're seeing her being pulled out in a body bag. And Chucky made a point to sit right there in that spot on that desk so that they could see him sitting in there. And then as they're sitting there talking to each other, like, he's messing with us. Like, and they're like, what do you mean? Next thing you know, Chucky wakes his butt up and gives them the finger and then goes back into his slump, faking like a doll. I laughed, okay? Laughed because, again, funny as heck. I just couldn't. But anyway, even after all of that just happened with the nun and they're taking her out of the body bag, the Father Bryce, he came out, said his little 1-2, and then he was like, yeah, okay, so now you guys can go on back to class. I know, I'm sure that's what she would have wanted, and I'll take over for her classes. Like, isn't that weird? Who does that? Why wouldn't you suspend classes for the rest of the day and just let them kind of just take a moment? I mean, goodness gracious, like that was like really jacked up, and it's kind of throwing red flags for me pertaining to this school. But we gonna see. Now, let's see. We flip back to Jennifer, aka Tiffany, with Anika. They're sitting watching freaking Liar Liar on TV, the movie with Jim Carrey and this Jennifer. Now, I thought that was another funny moment, just like, haha, okay, I see what you guys are doing with this. So apparently, Tiffany is obsessed with Jennifer being Jennifer, and which we know this from watching the movies, and that's all she does all day. And Anika's like getting in, talking to her and getting at her about it, and like pretty much trying to get into her head, like, you need to get out of this house. You're spending all of Jennifer's money, and I'm pretty sure we're not gonna have anything soon. You know, just trying to kind of get her to start moving around and get out of the house, because they literally don't go anywhere. I think unless it's like necessities, I'm assuming, like, she doesn't go outside the house. They stay in that house. It's gated. But anywho, now a detective actually ends up showing up to the house, and this is gonna be interesting. I will say, I was like, detective, if you know what we know, you might not want to keep pressing and be trying to come up in this lady's house, because if she feel like you getting on to her, or you getting too close to what's really going on up in that house, you ain't gonna make it too far. Okay, you better not keep coming up there by yourself. But that's for another story. So, I will say that Tiffany literally played that off terribly, because he was basically asking her if, about Anika. She was the last person that Anika saw before she went crazy and escaped. Which, again, is, you think about it, Anika was in a wheelchair. She couldn't use her legs. She's paralyzed. So someone had to have assisted her, which is why the detectives is hot on Tiffany's tail, aka Jennifer. Okay. Now, again, they're back. They're in study hall. Of course, they're wanting to get out because they know that Chucky doll is there, so they're trying to get to it. And so Jake, he's the one who asked to go to the bathroom. They only give them a 5-minute break, and then they time you. Okay, terrible. But he was like, only one of y'all at a time. All of y'all are not leaving here at the same time. So Jake sneaks off by himself, breaks into Father Bryce's office to basically get at Chucky. And by the time he's doing that and cursing the Chucky doll out, who has not come to life yet at this point, Father Bryce walks in and catches him. Now, Father Bryce goes on his own little spew. He gives him the Bible. He wants him to do an assignment. He locks him in the office with the Chucky doll, okay? With Chucky. Now, once this happens, Jake does what he does, smacks Chucky off the desk, and when he leans over to look and see where he was, Chucky was gone. Now, as this is happening, Chucky literally snaps a photo of Jake and takes off up the chimney. And that was it. And Jake was just like, what the, he was confused. I'm confused, because that's not normal. Like, that's not what Chucky does, right? So they're all really confused. By the time Father Bryce comes back in, he's like, where's the doll? And he's like, I don't know. When I tell you, it's like Father Bryce was like trying to hold his composure, because he's like, this kid is like really trying me right now. And he's just like thinking he's a liar, when really he wasn't lying. Chucky really wasn't literally left, and he doesn't know where he's at. So, yeah. So there's that. Now, let's see. Now, getting on to the night. Everybody's shutting it down. Lexi is in her room. Her and Nadine, they're in their room. They're calling it a night. She realizes that there is no lock on the inside of the room. Only on the exterior door is where they can lock it, which for them, not good. So, and with all of that, she ends up trying to, obviously she needs something to protect herself. Secondly, she's trying to move that dresser in front of that door, but she didn't tell Nadine why, because she's trying to keep her out of it. Now, eventually we find out when Nadine is in there for she's there for stealing things. She likes to steal things. So let's remember that. Nadine likes to steal things. Remember that. Because I feel like that's gonna come back around. Now, let's see. Their sleep. Lexi's tail is over there getting ready to consume drugs. Like, come on, Lexi. I know it's a lot that she went through, but she gonna have to cut it out because she is like, are you forgetting what's going on out here? Chucky is trying to do something to y'all, and y'all don't know what it is, honey. You got to be in your right mind. But while she's over there doing that, doing what she do, Chucky is under Nadine's bed. And then I'm just like, okay, Lexi, what was the point of you putting the dresser in front of your door so that Chucky can't come in if you didn't already check your room to make sure he wasn't already in there? I was just like, I can't. But anyway, he gets up because, and what he does, he snaps a photo of Lexi doing drugs. She doesn't even realize that he did that because the flash wasn't on. She didn't hear anything, nothing. So, in the process of her doing her thing, he's over there trying to move the dresses so he can sneak out. And Lexi, after she finishes what she's doing, she's in a daze. She looks, and then when she realizes what she's seeing, everybody screams. Chucky screams, Lexi screams, Nadine looks up, she sees Chucky, she freaks out, she's screaming, and he takes off. And then, of course, they're freaking out, especially Nadine. She's like, what the heck? And then all of a sudden, everybody in the hallway, because it's so quiet, obviously they heard y'all, so everybody's bursting out of their room, coming out of nowhere, and everybody's running and coming into the room. Father Bryce, everybody in there's like, what's going on, what's going on? Obviously, Lexi cannot tell them what she saw. And in my mind, I'm like, Lexi, I hope you put up what you was doing over there so they don't catch your tail, because you're going to be in another whole world of trouble, and we don't know what they're going to do to you when they find out that you're on drugs. She tells Nadine, don't you say anything. Keep your mouth shut. Now, in the midst of her trying to somehow wiggle her way out of that without saying anything, she's looking at Jake and Devon, and she's like, bathroom. And then they kind of put two and two together. So they kind of walk away, sneak away, and they go to the bathroom. They go in there looking through the stalls. Everybody's looking for him. Chucky is in a hamper. And when Jake turns his back, Chucky hops out and is like just on him. And then they're finally able to throw him off. They get the phone. Devon gets a hold of Chucky and has him pinned down with the knife. And Jake is like looking through the phone, and he's just looking at the pictures like, what the heck? And he's just trying to put two and two together. He's like, wait a minute. So before Devon is about to slice and dice this Chucky, he's like, no, because I think I know what you're doing. And they stop it there. Now, once all of that happens, oh, and mind you, Chucky spit in Devon's face, baby. It would have took a lot for me to take him out. But anyway, they didn't do it. Now, let's see. Obviously, Nadine, at this point, has been unfortunately roped in because unfortunately she is roomed with Lexi. Unfortunately. So sucky. But so Nadine has questions, and Lexi brings her with, because obviously Nadine is not going anywhere at this point because she doesn't see a live freaking doll walking and talking. And Jake and Devon, they all trying to catch him. She's like, no, Nadine's cool. She knows what's up. So they go take him, because she asked, did you get rid of it? They were like, no. And she's like, what? What do you mean? They go and they have him tied up. They have him tied up like a real human. And basically, trying to get some answers out of him. And they pretty much saying like, he's not there. He wasn't there to kill them. He was actually there to keep tabs on them for someone. Someone is controlling them. And we need to figure out it's a plan. There's a plan happening. That's not why he was here. Now, the detective back at Jennifer's house, aka Tiffany, shows back up. And I'm like, dude, you got away the first time. And here you are again. You keep coming up to this lady's house. Because you think, oh, it's Jennifer. She's an actress and she's famous. But you don't realize that she ain't who you think she is. But anyway, now mind you, Tiffany, she's expecting the twins to come in. So when that's who she thinks is coming, so she opened the gate. Lo and behold, it was the detective. Now, mind you, the first time the detective, he didn't come through the gate. He jumped over the fence. He said he climbed the gate, which was not okay, but okay. But now he he persists. He's very persistent. He comes into the house. He gets to talking. He's like, I think you know more. Pretty much, I think I know you know more than what you're saying. And she confesses and she's like, I have her here. And when she said that, I was like, that's it, dude. That's it for you. You're not leaving out of that house. And what do you know? In true form, Tiffany did what she needed to do and took him out. And in the process of that, the twins are coming. So she's like, oh my gosh. So she's trying to clean it up, do all of this. And mind you, in the midst of this, Anika has the moment because she's been put away because the twins are coming. Obviously, the twins are not supposed to know that she's there. Now, she put her up. Anika has the moment where she switches and we hear Chucky talking. And now we know. No, she switches to speak to, it showed an actual Chucky doll and her talking as herself, saying that they're working together to get Tiffany back for what she did to the both of them. So I think that somewhat answers our question as to what's going on and who's pulling the strings, you know what I'm saying? But there's still the question of how many Chucky dolls made it from the wreck, who survived from that. So we're gonna see. Now we do get a somewhat of an insight of the twins coming, but I'm so excited to see who the twins are, what they look like. So we're gonna see. That is literally where it cut off. The twins walked in as Tiffany was cleaning up the blood from the detective that she had just murdered. Okay, in the kitchen area or the living room, front door, whatever the case. But they come in and they catch her mom in the act of cleaning up that. So she's yeah. So now we have something new to add to the series because they are now bringing in the kids. Okay, Jennifer's kids or Tiffany and Chucky's kids. So we are going to see what happens on the next episode. I really enjoyed this episode. It was a lot of funny in it, as always. Favorite part is when Chucky gave Jake, Lexi, and Devon the finger when he was in the office after he basically gave the nun, a heart attack. That was my favorite part so far. But yeah, I just want to thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you thought about this episode. And how do you feel about the series so far? Did you enjoy season 1? Are you kind of getting into season 2? Like, what are your thoughts? So thank you, and you have a wonderful day. Bye, y'all. Till next time.